Well, it's been a good day, hasn't it?
I'm sure many of you can remember times you've sat around a campfire like that talking about what a great day it was, and then the conversation turns to spooky things, monsters, ghosts, and nowadays people talk about bears and mountain lions, a real threat around campfires. If you don't believe me, just stay tuned because we have the man here who was behind the camera. He has quite an adventurous spirit, too. His name is Bob Hammond from the Flint area, and this was out in Yosemite Park. You're going to hear the whole story in a minute.
Yosemite is an absolutely fabulous place. I've been privileged to go out just twice. My brother lives in California, and they try to make it every 3-4 years up there. And so it was early May. The waterfalls are spectacular. The color is coming on, the green and all, and the hiking is just stupendous, if that's the word, I don't know. But you find out if you're in shape, I'll tell you that. And so we had a great experience out there, and just, I guess would say the waterfalls, the rock, the granite, all the different formations are just fabulous.
Yosemite Park, if you ever get a chance to go there, I mean, the scenery is incredible. Indescribable. No place else has anything like it. But we have a lot of natural beauty too in Michigan. But you know, we're talking about an experience now that took place in a campground. And Bob, this campground, you took a little bit of footage of that. It looked like a normal Michigan campground.
Actually, in Michigan, when I go camping, we try to find a more rustic situation than we had. I like it wild. And out there you could drive in, and there's actually a circle road back through there, and the kids actually ride bikes. We took 2 bikes up there when we'd work out one day when we weren't hiking, because you can't handle that 2-3 days on the road, some of the heights and things. So we had a good time, like I said, but the campground would be pretty typical of the larger state campgrounds here in Michigan.
Of course, one thing that you don't see in Michigan that you saw out there in Yosemite, Bob, was that pack train, the supply train. I guess they shuttle food back into the campers who hike up into the remote areas, and that's how they get the food back there with the mules.
Morning. Where are you heading?
Over Yosemite Valley.
Now that most people would think would be the scary part, going back up into the mountains, those remote areas, having your food brought in. That's where all these wild animal encounters happen. Until Bob Hammond was sitting around the campfire. Bob, why don't you tell us about that night and lead us into this harrowing footage?
The night before, we did see a bear coming through the camp, through the tent area, and it was a surprise to me that we did, but we really didn't expect to see what we saw this night.
I got him. I wasn't recording there, I got him. Look at that. Hit him on the back. Keep it on his head. That might have been one What'd he grab? Where is he? I got him. He's got a coon. Look at that. I'm so nervous I can't hold it. Here he comes.
Gonna carry him off.
He's got him. What a shot.
Whoa, that was hair-raising. I mean, well, what am I going to say, guys? The hairs around the side were standing up at least. I mean, I would find that tremendously scary. And I'm sure a lot of people ask you, Bob, why would you chase that mountain lion with the camera and the light?
I wouldn't exactly say we chased him, but I said to my brother, you know, more or less whispered to him, let's follow him. He said, are you crazy? And I said, no, we only live once. I probably wasn't the thing to do. And I got to thinking as we were moving through the trees, he might be in one of these trees watching us. So we moved on, and we were fortunate to see him once again after that.
You were fortunate, Bob, but everybody isn't quite so fortunate when they see mountain lions at close range. Kyle Rando, you've been following this with the Sportsman Congress, what's happened in other states, and I know California has had some problems with the mountain lions. in the legal perspective, these attacks bring up something kind of interesting. You do have medical bills for people who are injured, and there's also people who get killed who have insurance. It's kind of a gruesome subject, but Sal Ghani, is this something like an earthquake, or who pays when these situations happen?
Well, in a circumstance like this, Fred, it's a tragedy if someone gets hurt by an animal. Unfortunately, there's no one at fault here. The state's not liable. The campground is not liable. It's just an act of nature, an act of God. In a circumstance like this, you would hope that person has insurance. If an injury occurs, it's because of the animal. And
that we've had here this evening, Bob Hammond. Of course, Bob, hold it. But before we leave, I just want to ask one more question. Were you seriously afraid that you might get injured? And if you did, do you think it would have been worth it?
At the time that it happened, I don't think we thought very much about that, but I thought a lot about it after a while. In the fact that the way the cat laid near the log and looked directly at us, which some of that wasn't even on the video. I was too nervous to get the camera back on. But I probably would think second time around about doing what we did.
Well, I'll tell you, I of course would have been excited, and I'd like to have footage of a wild animal like that, but I don't think I'd have gotten anywhere near a cougar that had just made a kill. I'm pretty fond of me, quite frankly.
Would you have done that, Sal? Or you think that's a goofy thing to do?
I think it was probably interesting, but I think I'd be afraid to do that.
Well, we've laughed a lot about this, but what you're observing here, folks, is something that is comic relief. Bob Hammond had a very close call with a mountain lion, not to be misinterpreted as something that everybody can do or that would turn out that same way every time. When Bob was getting close to that mountain lion who had the dinner he had just grabbed, that situation could have turned and it could have been a mountain lion attack. Well, you think about this as you take a look at Bob Hammond's close encounter with the mountain lion.
I got him. I wasn't recording there. I got him. Look at that. Hit him on the back. Keep it on his head. That might have been one What'd he grab? Where is he? I got him. I got him. He's got a coon. Look at that. I'm so nervous I can't hold it. Here he comes.
Gonna carry him off.
He's got him. What a shot.